Hello and welcome to List Management Monday. On today's episode, we have the two teams that finished 1 and 2 respectively in 2020. That is the Port Adelaide Football Club and the Brisbane Football Club. As always, we will start with the Next Generation Academy of our two teams. We are going to scroll in, and as we see in this maroon colour, we have Brisbane, have a small area of the state of Queensland. However, they've got the most densely populated areas. If we scroll down to South Australia, we can see in the aqua or teal, we've got the Port Adelaide Football Club sharing about 50-50 split of the populated areas of South Australia. And no one has been assigned this area here due to no population. Okay, let's get started with the first one in Brisbane. So Brisbane finished second on the AFL ladder this year. Their list size is 47. That's 44 rookies and 3 Category B. Their list average age for 2020 is 23.8, which is the 15th oldest or 4th youngest in the AFL. Their average games is 55, which is the 16th most experienced list. Their age profile in 2020, they have 5 over the age of 30, including Martin, Birchall, Zorko, Robinson, and the rookie reality program winner in Matt Eagles. Then they've got 27 players between the age of 18 to 22, 2 between the 28 to 30 age bracket, and 13, 23 to 27 in that peak age bracket. Their A-grade players, we believe, are Dane Zorko. Even though he's at 32, he's been consistently good for them over a long period of time. Lachie Neale, who will be the Brownlow medalist, we believe. Charlie Cameron, who's often hyped up in the media as that small forward, and Harris Andrews, at 23 years of age, I should say, has constantly been in All-Australian talk ever since his debut. Emerging talent for Brisbane Lions, we've got Harris Andrews at 23, Hugh McGluggage at 22, Eric Hipwood at 22, Berry at 22, Archie at 22, and then to round off, we've got Cam Rayner at 20, and a young defender who's popped up this year and had a very, very good year in Brandon Starcevic. Their untouchables, we believe, Daniel Rich at 29, Lachie Neale at 26, the Big O at 25, Charlie Cameron at 25, McStay at 24, then the emerging talent in Andrews, McGluggage, Hipwood, Archie, Rayner, and Starcevic. We believe going forward, their needs are going to be experience and KPF, which is key position forwards, and 2021 and beyond, again, list depth. So they'll draft the best available talent they have at their picks, and experience. We believe they should be looking for those free agents to put the cherry on top in their premiership window.
Yeah, so Brisbane really interests me with their age profile. They've got their large chunk of their players in that 18 to 22 bracket. I think they really just need to continue to fill holes and draft the best available. They've really hit a home run in the last 4 to 5 years with all the kids that they've drafted. We were looking down the list before, and every single player that they've drafted has shown something. So I think when you've got a formula that's working so well up there, there's no need to change it. So I think Brisbane are really gonna continue to push, but they need 1 or 2 players to just get them over that edge. What do you think, Brendan?
Yeah, and we've seen that Grant Birchall obviously came in on that experienced contract, similar to what they had with Luke Hodge, and Grant Birchall's now 32. So whether or not he signs for another 1-year deal, time will tell. But they do need to add to that experience, having 27 players in that 18 to 22-year-old age bracket. So to be able to put that cherry on top in their premiership window, they will need to fill those experience holes through free agency. And going through that as well with the key position forwards, especially to help out someone who's shown signs at 22 years of age in Eric Ipwood. There's rumours that Joe Danaher has been linked at year's end to go up there as a free agent. That's the sort of player they will need to add to that premiership window. So time will tell what they do, but at the moment their formula is working with the young players and under their structure, under their system run by Fagan.
Yeah, agreed. So now we'll move on to Port Adelaide, who finished first this year. Their list size for 2020 is 45. They have 38 on the main list, 6 rookies, 1 Cat B, with a list average age of 24, which makes them the 12th oldest list in 2020. And their average games is 69, which is the 5th most experienced list. Now, just in saying that, though, they've just released 4 players off their list, and they've had 2 retirements. So currently their list size sits at 39. So here's their age profile. So Westhoff has already retired. Robbie Gray, Travis Boak, Tom Rodcliffe and Brad Ebert round out their over 30 players. From ages 18 to 22, they have 23. From 23 to 27, they have 11. And from 28 to 30, they have 6. And as you can see, their 30 plus is at 5. So Brent and I had a good discussion about this, and we believe there's 5 A graders at Port Adelaide. So you've got Robbie Gray at 32, Boak at 31, Rodcliffe at 30, just because of his consistency throughout his career. You've got Charlie Dixon, who's had a really standout year, 29, and Ollie Wines at 25. Their emerging talent, which we've seen a lot of this year. So you've got Darcy Byrne-Jones at 24, Dan Houston at 22. You've got Power Pepper at 22, Laddams at 22, Todd Marshall at 21, Rosie at 20, Dersma at 19, Butters at 19, and the young, exciting forward Mitch Georgiades at 18. So their untouchables is their A-grade players, and also the majority of their emerging talent we can see there. There were a few others that we thought may come onto the list, but we haven't seen enough of them yet to say that. So looking at their needs moving forward, we believe they need some key position depth, especially with 2 key forwards now being removed from the list and someone to back up Charlie Dixon. Our biggest thing is, what if Dixon gets injured? Who do they have there to come and fill that role? At the moment, we don't see a standout there, and we think that that's something that they need. So for 2021 and beyond, they need to continue to draft the best available talent, and they definitely need to look at a key position forward and key position defender. Brendan, well, what do you have for Port?
Yeah, so we see with Port Adelaide, they've got a lot of depth across the board on their list. In particular, they've got a lot in the younger age bracket. And over the past 2-3 years, they've really focused on a certain area with their draft strategy. And that is to get a lot of the forward midfield types around that medium size to replace those of Robbie Gray and the Travis Boaks, as we saw last few years. And they've been consistently good at a young age in Rosie, Dersma and Butters. But they've also drafted in 2 other elite young players in Dylan Williams, who we've seen a lot of over the past few years, who will be the direct replacement for Robbie Gray up forward and in the midfield. And then we've also got Miles Bergman, who they drafted last year as part of the deal with St Kilda, where Ryder and Dougal Howard went to St Kilda. They got Miles Bergman, who again is an outside midfield forward. Going further on though with their depth, we can see, they've got Ryan Burton in the wings, who at 23 years old came from Hawthorn, is that key position depth that could develop, whether it's forward or back. Riley Boner, who they've brought in, is also 23, hasn't played too much this year. Then they've got players in their depth such as the Hartlets, the Mackenzies, the Jonases, who's the captain, obviously, and the Motlop at 29. So they will have to start replacing those players over time, but as long as they're in the premiership window, they can start drafting that best available talent. They won't need to bring many free agents in.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And Port's had an amazing year, a year that a lot of people didn't think that they were going to have. I think that the players that have stood up this year have been a bit of a surprise. But I see moving forward, there's a few areas where they still could improve. And I think definitely their key position forwards is going to be the main one.
Thanks for listening this week at Port Adelaide and Brisbane, the top two teams in 2020. Time will tell if both reach the AFL Grand Final. On next week's show, we're going to look at the draft and which players the clubs will be looking at. And stay tuned for Talent Talk with Reef McInnes this week. And next week on Talent Talk, we have Will Phillips. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
See you.